on YouTube? Welcome to another video. A feeling that I don't want to give you guys is that you have to buy something in order to feel cool, to be a cool person, you know? I find it much more interesting and amazing when I can talk to someone and then we have similar interests, and one of my biggest interests are animes. So I thought that I would share some of my most favorite like kind of modern animes, because the oldest one that I choose for this list today is from 2006, so it's rather new, instead of products that you can buy. If you're one of those persons who says that anime is cartoons for kids, get the fuck out. I picked out 20 of my favorites. Some that are not included in this list are, first of all, Death Note, because it's already all over the place in Tumblr. Same goes for Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online, because in my opinion the first half was amazing and they fucked up in between, and then the second half was just a pain in the ass to watch for me. But that's just my personal opinion about Sword Art Online. Also, please don't write comments like, why didn't you include this and that, because I have to limit myself, otherwise this video would be like 30-40 minutes long. If you have other recommendations, write it in the comment section so people can read it, and this list is just my personal taste, so please don't be that asshole who is like, I hate you now because you didn't include this and this anime in this list. There are a lot of good animes. I've probably watched like 500 in my entire life. Okay, whatever, let's get started with the video. The first one I want to recommend is another, you can see I have my list over here. It's a horror anime and it's about a boy named Koichi who moves to his grandparents, and when he visits his new school he feels something very odd in his class. There's a very mysterious girl with an eye patch sitting back in the classroom, and besides him no one can see her, and it's really weird, and he asks questions and finds out why no one can see her. I kind of predicted the end, but it was a very great story, and I watched it like in 1 day or 2 days something. If you're into horror stuff, watch another. The next one is Bakuman, and it's kind of like a slice of life romance anime. It's a very simple idea though. It's about a boy who wants to become a mangaka, a manga author, because his crush wants to become a voice actor, and they kind of be like, you're gonna fulfill your dream, I'm gonna fulfill mine, and then when we are both there where we want to be, we come back to each other, and it's very cute. And I learned a lot how mangas are drawn, how mangas are published, which was very interesting. There's also a second season to this. The next one is quite new though. It's called Boku ga Inai Machi, probably very horrible pronunciation. And the English title is very short, it's erased. It's about a guy named Satoru Fujinuma who can, whenever something bad happens in his surroundings, he can jump back in time for a couple of minutes and then prevent this bad thing to happen. And at one point something very bad happened and he jumps back not only a few minutes, but he found himself back in his childhood in order to prevent a chain of child murders to happen and find out who the murder is. Very good story, even though I also kind of predicted the end, and it's based on a light novel as far as I know. I've never cried this much in my life to any film or any series that I have seen, but when I watched the second season of Clannad, I cried my fucking eyes out. The first season is about Tomoya. He's still in school and he's a very negative person, and he meets Nagisa, who has to repeat in class because she was very ill and she couldn't visit school, and she wants to join the theater club, but when she came back to school the theater club didn't exist anymore, and Tomoya helps her to set up the new theater class. And you can see episode for episode how he slowly changes his views to life and becomes more positive with the help of Nagisa. The second season is then when they get married and stuff. Very romantic atmosphere, the whole, I don't know, the whole story, and then this child story at the beginning very got my heart, and some people rate this as the best anime they've seen in their lives, which I kind of do understand. And this one is Code Geass, and it's rather military drama kind of anime, and it's about a fictive political situation when Great Britannia took over Japan and took their independence, and now the Japanese people are the 11th colony of Great Britannia. The Japanese people are called 11s and they are living in ghettos and basically have no rights at all. And the student, Lelouch Lamperouge, who's actually a Great Britannian student, tries to destroy Great Britannia with a power that he got, which is called Geass, and this is a power of absolute obedience. When he has eye contact with someone and tells this person you have to do this and that, this person has no choice than doing this. I'm very into those anti-hero stories. If you like Death Note, you will love this one. Also, his opponent, who's actually Japanese and an 11, supports the Great Britannian army because he has other beliefs than Lelouch, and they first don't know that they're actually fighting against each other, and they're actually kind of like best friends in real life, and it's very dramatic and I really liked it. This one I watched recently and it's called Death Parade. It's kind of an idea what happens after life, after you died, and there are always two people who died, but they don't know that, and they walk into a bar. This sounds like a very bad joke. Two dead people walks into a bar. Whatever. So then there's Dake, the barkeeper, and he tells them you have to play a game. During this game, he decides if these people deserve to go to hell or to heaven. What I find very interesting, you see the individual stories of those people, kind of see how the dark sides of them like comes through, and it's very interesting. And I really like the atmosphere in this whole bar. It makes me questioning life, and this is what I think is great when a series or a film or something makes you think about that after you have watched it. This one I have a rather personal relationship to because this is the remake. So Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the remake of Fullmetal Alchemist. I recommend you to watch the remake because I think it has a better end. It's about Edward and Alphonse Elric, and they are alchemists, and they try to revive their dead mother with alchemy, which is an absolute taboo thing to do. During this process, Ed lost an arm and lost a leg, and his brother Alphonse lost his entire body. So those two brothers, they try to find the Philosopher's Stone to restore their bodies, and in order to do that they joined the military, and they experience corruption, inhumanity, they're questioning religion. And this anime, when I watched the original Fullmetal Alchemist, this is what got me into chemistry in school, because alchemy was the first step into chemistry, and I chose chemistry class in high school because I loved Fullmetal Alchemist so much. After I mentioned Kuroko no Basket in one of my favorite videos, everyone was screaming, writing me on Snapchat, writing under this video, watch Haikyuu, and it's also a sports anime about volleyball. And what I really liked about this one is that protagonists Hinata and Kageyama, they are working their ass off for success. I have a problem with some animes that there are some characters who are just very strong for no fucking reason, and in this sports anime you can actually see how they get better and better within every episode because they're actually working for it. And this is what I loved about this. I really love the characters. Even though you're not into volleyball, I wasn't into volleyball before I watched this anime. The next one is called Hataraku-Maou-Sama, and it's about the Demon King Satan, who was about to take over the world that he was living in. During this fight, he got sucked into another dimension, into another world, and he found himself in Tokyo in Japan, where he couldn't use his magic power, and he decides to take over Japan, and he starts as an employee in a fast food restaurant. Even though they changed every name, let's not gonna lie, he starts as an employee in fucking McDonald's, and it's just hilarious how he works when he's actually a demon king, that he works in fucking McDonald's. Very interesting characters and very interesting view of life that he has. Probably my most favorite romance comedy kind of anime is Kaicho Wa Maid-Sama, which is about Misaki, who goes to a school which was previously only boys' school, and she's the first female president of the student council, and she always protects the girls, is very strict to the boys, and I kind of can relate to her. And in order to support her family, she works part-time in a maid cafe, and it's kind of embarrassing for her. She don't want anyone to see that, and then the hottest guy in school, Takumi Usui, find out that she's working there, and then the whole story just goes on. And if you're into romance animes, watch this. And I had such a bad crush on Takumi when I was watching this. The English title is Black Butler, which is more convenient for me to pronounce, is an anime which takes place in the Victorian time in London, which was 1800 something, and is about the 12-year-old head of the Phantom Hive Imperium, Ciel Phantom Hive, who solves crimes in the London underworld with the help of his butler Sebastian, who is actually a demon, and they have a contract. Sebastian helps him to find out who killed his parents and tortured him. After this task is finished, Sebastian is allowed to consume Ciel's soul. The whole atmosphere is also very dark. I love it. Everything is extremely elegant. I really love the costumes that they are wearing. I think Sebastian is like the best butler you can ever imagine. It's just great and highly recommended. Probably many of you already know is Mirai Nikki, and it's about Yuki, who isn't very good with people, but one thing that he does, he routinely writes diary in his phone. In this diary he talks to an imaginary kind of god. This imaginary friend actually exists, gave him this diary on his phone which can predict the future, and he says there are, was it 12 or 10 or something, other people who also has a diary like yours, and you have to kill each other, and the only survivor will become the next god of time and space. And it's getting very violent at some points. What I really liked about this anime is that there was never a story like that before. It was very new, and you will find out what the real meaning of over-attached girlfriend is when you watch this. One of my favorite visuals in an anime is No Game No Life, and it's about Soda and Shiro. They are step-siblings, and they are known as a group of gamers called Blank, and they're undefeated in the gaming world, and they're isolated from outside and just hate like the real world. And then they're chosen from the god Ted to join the world called Disboard. In this world everything centers around games, so every conflict has to be solved by gaming or gambling. I really like intelligent animes, and the way how they are defeating the other species of this world is very interesting, and everything is in cute pastel colors, and I really liked it. Something I recommend everyone to watch, even though when you're not into animes, is One Punch Man, and it's about the superhero Saitama who destroys every enemy with one punch. It's hilarious. It's a satire not only against all superhero animes, but superhero films and series in general. Absolutely hilarious. Highly recommended to watch. 12 episodes, so it's not that long. This one is actually already 10 years old. I feel old when I'm doing this. It's Ouran High School Host Club. It's kind of also like a romance comedy anime, 26 episodes long. It's about Haruhi, who got a scholarship in a rich kid school even though she's actually pretty poor, and she looks like a boy, and then she was looking for a place where she can study, and then she accidentally got into the host club, which is a club where good-looking male students entertain female students, not in a sexual way though, but very flirty and stuff, you know. In this place she accidentally broke a vase which was fucking expensive, and to repay her debts she has to work in this host club as a host. And what I loved about this anime is it crosses gender boundaries, especially when you see the father of Haruhi. I really loved the comedy in this one, and very lovely anime to watch. The next one is Shokugeki No Souma, and it's a cooking anime. If you think anime food looks better than real food, in real life, then you have to watch this, even though I'm a vegan and they cook with a lot of meat and stuff, but I don't care because it just looks, everything looks fucking delicious, and just the orgasmic reaction that people have when they're eating this is also very interesting. Currently the second season is airing and I'm watching it as well. One that I personally really liked was Soul Eater, even though many people didn't like it because the end was quite different from the manga. I think as in anime itself, it was pretty good. The drawing style is very unique. There isn't any other anime that has the same drawing style as Soul Eater, and it takes place in Shibusen, which is a school for death weapon meisters, and there are students who can transform themselves in weapons and then the people who uses those weapons, and they are trying to kill like evil souls, and they have to consume 99 evil souls and a soul of a witch to become a death scythe. I really like the humor of this. Everything has to be symmetric. If you're watching this, just this whole symmetric thing, I laughed my ass off. This one, many people like myself as well. When I watched it for the first time, I didn't understand it. Was Suzumiya Haruhi no Yuuutsu, and it's about Haruhi who's obsessed with supernatural phenomena. Strikes the protagonist, whose name is Kyon, and they establish together a club named the SOS Brigade to find supernatural phenomena. After I watched it for the first time, I found out there's a kind of different way to watch it. There, if you watch the episodes in another order, it kind of makes more sense. And I really fell in love with the character of Haruhi. I personally liked it, but it's not something for everyone, I know that. This one is also quite new. It's called Tokyo Ghoul. Ghouls are creatures who looks like humans, but they are eating human flesh. And during an incident, the protagonist, Kaneki, who is a very introvert student, he's into books and stuff like that, he got some organs of a ghoul transplanted in his body, and he slowly starts to crave human flesh. And he's like kind of a mix between ghoul and human, and there are some good ghouls who tries to blend into the human society, tries to live with humans together, and there are others who are evil, and this whole conflict is very dramatic. When I watched the second season, the end kind of left me empty, and I really like this very edgy, very dark atmosphere. I love it. And the last one is, as some people may recognize, I did this in alphabetical order because it's easier for me. The last one starts with Z, and it's Zankyou No Terror. It takes place in Tokyo, and Tokyo has been hit by a terrorist attack, and the only evidence is a video of two masked teenage boys who called themselves Sphinx. And they uploaded this to the internet, and in this video they are sent hidden riddles, and there's only one detective who kind of know how to solve them and slowly find out why they are doing this. And the whole background story is very sad, and the end broke my heart, but I really love the anime itself. I hope you liked this video. Tell me what you think, and if you have other anime recommendations which you think people have to watch this, write it in the comment section. These are some that are rather well known. Sometimes I think those series are well known for a good reason, and it's really more than cartoons for children. Some of these I would never show this to my little child because they're very violent, a lot of blood and stuff. And it's kind of like you would watch a series with real persons just drawn in a Japanese way. So see you in the next video.